to a world where shootings, kidnappings and gang warfare are just part of the job. We're going on the journey to meet the real deal. Law enforcers who put their lives on the line every day, patrolling the most dangerous beats on the planet. So buckle up, because we're about to roll with the world's toughest cops.
With a population of just over 2 million, Kosovo is one of the smallest regions in the Balkans. But with the United Nations estimating that 70% of households own at least one gun, violence and mayhem have turned parts of Kosovo into war zones. This instability has been exploited by criminal gangs who have flooded the country with drugs and guns. And battling to control the chaos is one of the world's newest police forces.
Murders are quite common. Right now we are looking for anything suspicious.
Nevojite të armajgjat sepse është rrezikshmëria nivelit të lartë.
This is just normal daily policing for this region.
Located on the Balkan Peninsula, in the southeast of Europe, Kosovo borders Montenegro, Albania, Macedonia and Serbia. After the Balkan War tore through the region at the end of the 1990s, the criminal underworld moved in. They abused the political instability and lack of law enforcement, establishing Kosovo as a base for their lucrative trade. Its porous borders and key position in the smuggling route from Afghanistan to the west means Kosovo now sees an estimated 40% of the world's heroin trafficked through its streets. Kosovo is also one of the most disputed territories in the world, with the Kosovo Albanians and the Kosovo Serbs fighting for control of the region, making it one of the world's most difficult places to police. But the Kosovo Police Service, the KPS, is fighting back. They've set up a specialist unit to combat the increasingly influential underworld. Major Hadji Kriznicki is the Deputy Chief of the Department Against Organised Crime. He's on the front line in the fight against Kosovo's gangs.
Fighting organized crime is something special, because we know that we are doing this job to serve our people, to have Kosovo without narcotics. This is high motivation.
Today, Hadji is masterminding a raid on a large crime gang who he suspects are about to engage in a huge heroin deal.
Forma kolega. Pastishje grupet I kem done, planin operative kom në shkruaj. Janë gjithçka ose aranxhuar për pas se ulën një të uja unë drejtim, por morrin atje do të him më një herë. Do të him sa më parë që mos na dolin sen. Po.
In this remote village, 20 miles from police headquarters, Haji's team have got the gang's base surrounded. He's able to call on elite officers from across the KPS, guys who are trained to deal with the most dangerous criminals.
In the time you are waiting for information from the field, you are a little bit under emotion, but we are all happy and feel commander is doing his job very well.
He sets off to rendezvous with his unit, who are ready and waiting to make the bust. Getting it wrong could be fatal, as criminals in Kosovo are armed and dangerous. Then suddenly, it's time to go in and the raid is on. The team let Haji know they've got one of the suspects.
Bravo, bravo! Jo med precision ju, power forensika. They was planning to exchange the drugs with the money, and we just hit in this moment.
As well as finding one of the suspects, they've also seized a huge quantity of heroin.
They found more than 10 kilos. They said around 15 kilos, but we will learn when we arrive right now. This group is mixed, combined by Turkish citizens from Turkey and Kosovars. We are suspect that the drugs arrived from Turkey. They brought some materials to mix the drugs to make it more than it was.
This is a significant bust for Haji's team. They've seized a huge amount of drugs and arrested 2 suspected members of a drug smuggling gang. He is soon on the scene to take control.
Ser ni då? Slänger ni på? Ja, slänger ni på? All drugs is here, but the investigators are doing a search in this house. More drugs? Or more drugs and weapons.
But it seems that the day's work is not quite over.
We're with the cops in Kosovo, whose job it is to police a region riddled with ethnic tension, and where organised crime is rife.
The Kosovo Police Service have just struck gold. They've busted an international crime gang and seized heroin with a street value of almost $1.5 million. But it seems that the raid isn't over yet. One of the gang is hiding on the roof. They get hold of him and pull him down from the roof. With all that firepower, he didn't stand a chance.
Sitten niillä on mapussi tuonne tamoren hetusta vaikka.
Hei! Hajde, het ons. Helt brak. Kom hier.
Regular se tu senhor. Hadi vardani me tu senhor. Regular se tu senhor.
Hajde,
The gang members could be looking at up to 10 years. A huge success in the KPS's fight against organised crime.
They're gonna be rogues.
What can I say? I am feeling very well. The complete group of people are arrested, and we have more than 15 kilos, somewhere around 20 kilos of heroin.
Although it's a success, the 20 kilos is just a drop in the ocean. An estimated 5,000 kilos of heroin passes through Kosovo every month. The police now have a job getting the conviction they want.
But amount of narcotics is not that big issue. For the judges, you have to prove them that this is an organized crime network.
Do you think this was an organised crime?
Sure it was. We have here Turkish citizen arrested. We have people who sell the narcotics. We have people who buy the narcotics.
Hadji and his boys head back to the station for a few well-earned beers. Because they're undercover cops, their faces cannot be shown. Their identities may be secret, but their actions are very public. And some very important people are very happy.
Edhe ministrin ka flet edhe nemën qeverisë të Kosovës. Dhe për cilët tek të gjithë ata të cilët kontribuan në realizimin e këtij operacioni shumë të suksesshëm. Domethënë, është kjo bortje prej ministrit. Unë i përgëzoj të gjithëve edhe urime e gëzuar të gjithëve.
Created in 1999, the Kosovo Police Service is one of the youngest in the world. Yet they're faced with problems that would test even the most experienced force. They have to police a political powder keg. Two ethnic groups have been fighting for control of Kosovo for years. The Kosovo Albanians and the Kosovo Serbs. So the KPS set up a specialist unit to deal with any unrest.
Listen.
Trained by Bezat Ahmeti, the Regional Support Operations Unit, or ROSU, are a specialist intervention team, primed for action whenever required.
Sigurisht që punën që unë e bëj e du, për ndryshe nuk do të kisha kry këtë punë, edhe pse jam punë me përgjithësi të mloja edhe me rregullse të mloja, prapë vazhdoj të kry këto vetura.
Unit also trained for the most extreme situations, including hostage and kidnapping.
Trajnimet për çdo lloj lëmie. Rreth policisë trajnimet I ndihmojnë aty më gjitë ma lehtë në situata reale.
But their first responsibility is to the people.
Detyra e secilit policë është të mbrojtë jetrat e qytetarëve. Dhe ka ndodhur në shumë raste që të punë me shërbim një qytetarit, për të japtu jetën një qytetarit në shtasë, dhe ka ndodhur që policia ka rënë.
10 officers have met violent deaths in the KPS since it was established at the turn of the millennium. Cops here are 50 times more likely to be killed violently than in the UK. The next assignment for Bezat and his team will be one of their toughest ever. In a couple of days, they'll be policing a political protest. And the last time they were involved in a similar operation, it was mayhem. On February 10th, 2007, in the capital city Pristina, what should have been a peaceful demonstration descended into chaos. A group of Kosovo Albanians tried to storm government buildings in protest against the UN's presence in Kosovo. The city of Pristina was turned into a battlefield. 78 people, including 8 police officers, were injured, and 2 protesters left dead. The next protest in 2 days' time could be just as volatile.
Një farë mënyrë detyruar me u trajnu për situata të tilla, edhe me qenë gjithmonë gatshëm për aksione të tilla. Me qenë gjithmonë përgatitur fizikisht, taktikisht edhe psikikisht për aksione të tilla.
Bezart needs to ensure that his unit are ready for what lies ahead. This could be one of the most dangerous days of their short careers.
Trafficking people for prostitution is big business in Kosovo. For organised crime gangs, there's big money to be made.
In the town of Ferazaj, Ramadan Ahmeti and his unit are getting ready for a night shift. He heads a unit that is responsible for stemming one of the region's fastest growing problems, human trafficking.
Hey, kalzëm të mua, pranarën do të më mshirë gjithë qysh. Mshirë me vesë, do të më mshirë, po mi rast do me obë. Shtatë të nëse del, dikush e ekstra del, të s'del, panik, qështë të po. Super, qështë.
Kosovo is seen as an easy target. It has over 700 miles of porous border and strong criminal links to the Eastern European countries where the victims are often trafficked from. There's an estimated 25,000 women trafficked through the Balkans every year. They are bought and sold for as little as $1,000. Tonight, Ramadan and his anti-trafficking team are raiding a bar that they suspect is operating as an illegal brothel. They suspect a Serbian woman is being held against her will.
We are suspicious that she's a victim of trafficking, which is used for prostitution. I'm feeling good because I know that in the end I will save the life of someone that really needs to be saved.
The raid can only begin once Ramadan receives a coded message from 2 undercover officers who are posing as customers inside the bar.
Po mos çako tre. Çe si ai mia e lodh. Si kal. Nera corri. Faleminderit shumë.
The woman is there. It's time to go.
When I see the victims, especially when they are minors, I think in myself, what if she may be my daughter or my sister? We have to fight against the criminals and to save good people.
But raids like this carry a big risk for the cops.
This is a dangerous job also, because you are dealing with the criminals. Organized crime are much more difficult and dangerous than other type of crimes. If I will be killed or shot, I will feel the time. So, till the time I have to work.
When the raid starts, the officers know they will have to move quickly to find the girl and secure any evidence. This establishment is trading perfectly legally as a bar downstairs, but upstairs they suspect it's operating as an illegal brothel.
Right now we are looking for anything suspicious, maybe drugs, weapons, anything. Okay.
Ramadan confronts the owner.
Kinesan dyshim dëshëm. Kallzone se kiz.
Upstairs, the team have found the woman. As suspected, she was being held against her will.
Misliš ponovo da se vratiš nekad ovdje?
Okay. Samo se pakuj se stvari, tvoje stvari, sve što hoćeš da uzmeš sad. The girl is going to be taken back to the shelter. It looks in her eyes that she's happy that we are here.
The police discover the owner has the woman's ID card. In the Balkans, you must have this on you at all times. But the police suspect that he was keeping it to stop her escaping.
Është ide e mirë me ardhë me nga të regu në stacion, se si ka ardhë deri te kjo vajzë.
The fact that the woman is from Serbia, historically a country that Kosovo Albanians have been at war with, doesn't matter to Ramadan.
She's a Serbian, and I'm happy that we are serving to all of people, no matter the nationality or religion or background. I'm happy to fight this crime, just because to have a better future for our people, our daughters and our sons.
Kosovo has one of the most underdeveloped economies in Europe, and a fledgling force is working in an environment of instability, division, and a far from certain future.
With its long history of upheaval, Kosovo is one of the most volatile territories in the world. In the late 90s, it was torn apart when it became involved in the deadly Balkan War. As Serbs and Kosovo Albanians fought a violent battle for control of Kosovo. More than 10,000 people were killed. Many of the dead were victims of ethnic cleansing as the Serbs attempted to overpower the Kosovo Albanians. The conflict was ended when NATO intervened, bombing the Serbs into submission in a bid to end the ethnic cleansing. The United Nations moved in to police the region, in which tensions between the two groups still raged. But there is one town in Kosovo where that's a lot easier said than done. Mitrovica is a town at war with itself. In the south of the city live the Kosovo Albanians, and in the north, the Kosovo Serbs. Both groups still see Mitrovica and Kosovo as their territory. Many of them are prepared to fight for it.
Mitrovica is like a modern day Northern Ireland.
The man charged with keeping the peace in this hotspot is David McLean.
Murders are quite common. We had one last week, we've had one today. These are just normal daily policing for this region.
As regional commander of the UN police in Mitrovica, David knows the city better than most.
There's what we call an imaginary red line, where they both know each other's territory.
Mitrovica is split by a river. The river is crossed by a bridge, which is regularly the scene of violent clashes between the police and the warring factions.
We've had large demonstrations here over the years. We've had violence on this bridge. We've had explosions on this bridge. The violence can erupt at any second.
it does, it's the Kosovo Police Service and the UN who get caught in the middle of it. They often come under fire, trying to keep the two sides apart. But the danger doesn't faze David. In fact, he relishes it.
My job's a hobby to me. Ever since I joined the police way back in 1991, each day I go to it, it's because I love it. Can you say it's good?
Fresh guy.
It's a buzz to be in it.
Can you imagine doing any other job?
No, absolutely not. Well, I'm glad you are here to support the region. That's the main thing. Helps me, makes my job easier when you come here to support me.
Yeah.
So it does. Okay, see you later on. Bye-bye. Back home, I have a wife and 3 children, and I'm missing out on some of the most important times of their life. Coming up to doing higher education and all that. Sometimes I think to myself, am I selfish being here? Should I be back home with them? But who else is going to come and do this job? Yeah, there'll be somebody else ready to follow in, but I think I put my heart into this job. But I'll also try and put my heart into my family also.
David joined the British Ministry of Defence Police in 1991. He volunteered for the UN posting in Kosovo in June 2007.
And
despite having worked around the globe, he's never seen anything quite like Mitrovica.
These are the style of weapons that we come under attack from. This is known as an AK-47. This is the style of bullet that it fires. Very powerful, 7.62. If you go through all the history since '99, I think nearly every household in Kosovo had one of these in them at one time and still have at this present time.
There are estimated to be up to 400,000 small arms in Kosovo. So David needs to keep his vital organs protected.
See? Protects the bollocks.
So if a bullet hit that, you'd be completely...
Oh, you'd be in pain, but it wouldn't go through. It wouldn't go through.
David is well aware of the importance of good body armour, as he has policed some of the most violent clashes Mitrovica has ever seen. One of the worst happened in March 2008. Kosovo had recently declared its independence as an independent state, no longer under UN administration. This provoked a violent response from the Kosovo Serbs, who fervently believe that Kosovo is a province of Serbia. In protest to the declaration, Kosovo Serb court workers broke into the city's courthouse to stage a sit-in. The events of that day are indelibly printed on David's mind.
The court workers broke off the fence gates there, lifted them off, and then they came down here. There was a crowd of maybe 300 of them. They forced their way down to here, and then when they got to the gates, the other side of the armoured vehicle, they pushed the gates down and then broke in through the window.
After occupying the courthouse for 3 days, the protesters felt they'd made their point and agreed to leave peacefully with the police. But things were about to take a turn for the worse.
Once they were taken into detention, they were put into prison escort vehicles and they were taken out by the rear gate here. When they proceeded out through the rear, the vehicles come under attack. Once they came back in here and they regrouped, we then thought that we would try and get them out through the main gate there. After trying to get out, the back was blocked and we tried to get them to leave out the front. This is where the convoy came under attack.
The situation quickly descended into chaos.
And as you can see from the marks here, one of the UN vehicles was actually burnt in this area. This was a bus that was setting fire. You can still see the tarred Scotch marks from it. What they were doing was they were using the petrol station to make their Molotov cocktails. They were rolling up with crates of bottles, just filling them with petrol, putting cloth into them and just throwing them constantly.
The mob succeeded in freeing the protesters and then attacked with a renewed vigour.
Here we come under attack from AK-47s down here, mortars from fire from AK-47s, 3 to 4 hand grenades thrown at the front gate, another 45 are thrown at the back gate. We've got mortar attack coming in above us. It was a war zone.
And in the battle, one of David's colleagues paid the ultimate price.
Officer Ihor from Ukraine was subject to a hand grenade at the far side of the fence there, where he sustained serious injuries that resulted in his death.
By the time it was over, the police had lost 1 officer and 63 others lay injured.
Knowing that it was a fellow officer, it hurts you. You think to yourself, is there anything I could have done better to improve things? Who was to blame? Can I find the culprit that carried it out? And that's my main aim at the moment, is to make sure that a thorough investigation is carried out.
In the last year of the 20th century, Kosovo was devastated by war. With no established law and order, the Kosovo Police Service was set up to try and bring stability to the region. One of those recruits has gone on to become one of Kosovo's toughest police officers. Her name is Naima Kalakovic.
Ndihëm krenare, që jam një kamen edhe e udhëheqë këtë mashkuj, ishtë në një set, edhe po ashtu rezultatet e ty tregojnë se do thëtë edhe ata krenohen me punën që e bëj për ta.
At 27 years old, she has already risen through the ranks and leads a unit of 29 men.
Matë mira goditje do thëtë një këtu, qendra e masës. Gjithmonë kërkohet edhe trajnimi jonë është gjithmonë personi dyshim që duhet qendra e masës. Jashtë patrorit nuk është të efektuese.
Naima's team was set up to tackle the heavily armed criminals who see Kosovo as an easy target. They train hard week in, week out, because they know from bitter experience that any operation could be their last.
Kolegu Triumfi do thëtë ka humbë jetën në detyrë. Ka qenë një oficer ndër më të mirët në Kosovën, po në këtë rast edhe pse ndim ndoshta edhe sot që punoj ndi vjetën shumë keq, kriminalet e ka arrit qëllimit edhe në detyrë kanë vrarë do thëtë kolegu. Po pikrisht do thëtë e kom ndi veten si një pjesë trupit humbja.
Even though she has seen one of her closest friends killed in the line of duty, her resolve has not wavered.
Policia pikrisht që e du këtë profesion, edhe më duket si pjesa jetës, po ashtu e ndi vetën si kur bërë që e kom që t'i vendit, edhe qësoj popullatët që tu për mi afru ndim ose mi shërby.
Nevç, ma kanë most.
Naima and her team are getting ready to go into the town of Paya. an area of Kosovo known as the Wild West because of its history of gunfights. They're conducting a training exercise, learning how to stop highly dangerous suspects involved in organised crime. It may only be practice, but the lessons learned could save their lives. So they're playing it for real.
Patrolla numër 3 po ndëgjoni. Lokacion Cuban, na njoftoni sa persona jon në vetur.
Tonight they're learning how to track and apprehend a suspect vehicle. Once they're on the suspect's tail, the chase is on.
Po, do thëtë ata veç jon të informume dhe tash jena në pritje për informuat për patrollës numër 3 më na njoftu, a ka vjen dyshim të drejtim tonë dhe apo jo.
Name as unit work as a team, with her car overtaking the suspect at the last minute to box him in. It's finished in little over a minute, but the exercise isn't over. When dealing with organised crime bosses, getting them from the crime scene to the cell is one of the most risky parts of an arrest. The training has gone well. Exercises like tonight's are vital for Neymar's team. They need to stay sharp, as their lives depend on it.
Po, do thëtë 99% për i rasteve, do thëtë që e kanë në Kosovë, këtu do thëtë gjithmonë kriminali janë në atë nivelin të rrezikshmërisë shumë të lartë, janë atë pajisur ma special si kur oficerët e tjerë, e kena armet e gjata, cilat I përdorin pikrisht për qatë arsye se
We're with the cops in Kosovo, a part of the world at odds with itself. A society racked with division, tension, and ethnic violence.
It's Sunday morning in Pristina, Kosovo's capital city. Lieutenant Besart Ahmeti and his unit are getting ready to police a political protest.
A pak ma shpejt. Gjem, tash po nisëm, po im në dërtest ujinit, parking. Po shkojmë atje dhe ndosim që më të pajisim në gjithë, pa rotacion, pa alarm, dhe të nisim drejtin të aty.
They know from first-hand experience that the peace on a day like today can very easily be shattered. Last time this group held a protest, it turned into the worst riot Pristina has ever witnessed.
Edhe në vitin e kalum, me 10 shkurt patën organizu një protest. Shumë protesta mirë po vlen ceket me 10 shkurt, kur protesta ka qenë më e dhunshme, edhe ka pas të lëndum nga ona e qytetarëve, pjesëmarrësve në protest, edhe nga ona e policëve.
2 protesters were killed and 70 were injured as the streets of Pristina became battlefields. 8 cops were also wounded.
Ndjenja për me qenë një protest dhunshme, ndjenja sigurisht që nuk është e mirë. Në të vërtet nuk është e mirë dhe nuk dëshiroj që kërkush me konë.
They have been assigned to protect the UN compound, as last time protesters attempted to storm official buildings. Vet Vendosia, the group who rioted, have again mobilised nearly 1,000 protesters police are out in force. Vetvendocia are incensed that Kosovo Serbs are being allowed to vote in Serbia's general election, despite the fact that they are nationals of Kosovo, which it now sees as an independent state with no links to Serbia. The protest starts peacefully as the group make their way towards the UN building. As the protesters gather in front of the compound, Besar and his men move into position, knowing that the trouble could start at any moment. Protesters start bombarding the UN compound with rubbish. Bazar and his team hold their positions. They then up the ante by washing down the compound with pig slurry. Despite the provocative actions of the crowd, the police remain restrained. This time it appears that both the protesters and the police have learnt the lessons of the previous year.
Përderisa nuk ka pas asnjë polic edhe asnjë protestues të lëndum, sigurisht se gjithçka ka shkuar në rregull.
Mendoj se duhet të respektohet vullneti I protestuesve, secili qytetar I Kosovës ka drejt protestoj për ato që mendon se është diçka e gabueshme.
It's this freedom that the people of Kosovo have fought so hard for. Now the officers of the KPS face a new battle against the criminal gangs attempting to overrun their homeland.
The standard of policing that you have from them is very, very high, and considering their poor quality of pay and the professionalism they show, I think it's a credit to them.
Nuk e kam as dëshirë, prap as vullnet, po as mendja nuk u kam shkuar për mendje shumë do të profesionale.
I'm proud doing my work because I'm doing for my home country, for my people, and I'm thinking that the future is going to be better and better than it was in the past.